Uh-oh.
The chair is empty.
Should we go back on to normal?
Well, we're supposed to have Angie up, so. Oh, where's Angie?
Hi.
You got no camera on you, huh?
Everybody, can you see and hear me?
No, we can't see you.
Yep.
Unmute me.
There you go.
Oh, Moon.
We're in trouble. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, and you can obviously hear me. Hey, everybody. Hi, Kent. I wish we could see you guys out there. Okay. We're still having some technical difficulties, so hopefully we're good here. They all had a good plan here and everything, and we just missed out. They wanted to do a little dance for you all, but we had kind of an issue, so maybe we'll have to do that next week. So something to look forward to. So Becky's out there in Kent. She's going to have a couple announcements, but let me just start with a couple things. So last week, we announced that we were going to be live for Solution Group, live for the auction by the end of the week. Well, we always forget every year that there's always stuff to work out behind the scenes before our page can be ready. So the original date that we were going to kick it off and go live was August 1st. We will still go live by August 1st, just not the way early like we were saying last week. We were overly hopeful. We just have more things technically to work out for the tickets to go live, but it's coming. Becky has posters in her hot little hands there at Kent. So for all of you that are there tonight, please grab some posters. If you can help us get them out in the communities, put them up on bulletin boards. A lot of coffee shops allow, posters in the windows and things like that. So anywhere you can hang a poster, please get those posters out. We've got the postcards to hand out as well. So help us start spreading the word. More information to come, but thank you to those of you who have already reached out with donations. I'm really missing seeing everybody. Can I see that? Maybe the galleries? I'm not staring at my face. That'd be so cool. So I can see your faces. It's so helpful. Thank you.
Who did that first?
Do you guys want me to talk about auction and stuff? There's the posters, there's procurement forms, there's little postcards. It's right by the door as you go out, so grab as many as you want.
Okay, I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for all of you who've already reached out with ideas that are coming for auction. For instance, Jolie's mom. She's donating their Airbnb for a few nights. So we are looking for experiences, products, services, all sorts of things for our big annual auction coming up this fall. So be thinking about who do you know? Do you have vacation timeshare anywhere that you'd want to donate a few nights? We appreciate all of it. And then we put these cool packages together for our live auction. We put baskets together for our silent basket auction. So all new items are wanted, and we're looking for that. And stay tuned for the weeks to come. We'll get more information out. But thank you to those of you who've already started reaching out. We'll get back to you with donation forms and all that kind of stuff. So join us for Moms Group tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. on Zoom, moms. All you ladies, please join us 1 hour on Zoom every Wednesday morning. It's just an opportunity for us to get to know each other more, talk about the topic from the night before. So definitely join us. And Becky, are you out there? Do you have anything to pop in and add?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, is it a full house there? Tell me about it. I can't see you all.
Big full house here. Yeah, I don't know. Is there any camera looking out that way? No, okay. Sorry you can't see, but we got a full house, so yeah.
I need pictures.
Okay, I'll try and get some pictures. But until then.
You're missing out. I'm experiencing FOMO right now, y'all.
Well, we wish you were
I just
here.
taught her what that is.
She's using it all the time.
Yeah, like a week ago, she didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
That's funny. Anyway, so I need to tell everybody about about National Night Out, though. So that's going to be August 1st. And if you joined us last year, we had 2 tents. It was in Fircrest, which is Tacoma area, just west of Cheney Stadium. And so it's going to be Tuesday, August 1st. It's going to start at 9, or I'm sorry, from 5. It's going to be 5 to 9. They have tons of fun stuff going on. Even art thought it was fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they'll have food trucks like hot dogs,
Great.
drinks, chips for $1. There'll be food trucks, ice cream trucks, pony rides. So it's like a full family event, and I think there was something like 4,000 people or something last year. It's huge, you guys. It's so fun. Anyway, so we'll have a tent, so anybody who wants to come help set up a tent and help us spread the word about Battlefield, or if you just want to come down, check it out and have fun, it's a great night out. And they do have a big firework display at the end that is really awesome. And then I think that's it, Angie, because you already mentioned the mob, right?
Yep, I mentioned the mob, and stay tuned next week. Come on a little early so you can see these guys dance. They totally had it ready. They were so excited to share it with y'all. We're having a good time down here in Vegas. Let's put a plug out there for the puppies. Maybe I'll let Art do that. We're over our heads here with puppies, and so we've got 2 available puppies. If anybody out there is in the market for, or maybe we just have 1 now, maybe. But anyways, just got to put a little blurb out there for that. We're a little over our heads, but we're having a good time down here in Vegas. So with that, let's turn it over to Mr. Kyle Munkers. He's our comedian, bringing us Kyle's Corny Comedy Corner.
We also want to say happy birthday to Dave Stampalia. He's 35, but his son is Chris, so he looks older.
We'll spare you our singing voices. Dave, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. All right. A friend of mine just recently got out of jail. Turns out he's a serial flasher. He was going to stop, but he's going to stick it out for another year.
I don't get it.
He's a serial flasher.
Oh, you're gonna stick it out.
Stick it out?
Oh yeah.
In fact, he had to go to Vegas to get away from Washington.
Yeah. I know, my dog brain's kicking in.
Started a side job collecting leaves. Boy, I'm really raking it in. I went to the store to buy some camo pants. I couldn't find them. Do you know why the monkey and Jane fought over Tarzan? Because he swings both ways. I went to a beekeeper to buy some bees, and I bought 12 of them. He handed me the box, and I opened it, and there was 13 bees in there. He said, "The last one's a freebie." Do you know why pediatricians have such bad temper? Because they have little patience. I broke up with my ex-girlfriend Ruth over text. Now I'm ruthless. Last one. One time I went to a brothel. Got to the front door and it was closed, but they had a sign that said, "Beat it."
All right. I might get my historic facts right or wrong tonight, but you'll get the gist. I remember, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist, never been that way, never thought about deep government conspiracies or how we're trying to destroy the middle class and any of that stuff. But recently, it's for me, it kind of looks like it. But I remember they said that invention is the motherhood of necessity. It's something like that, correct? Or necessity is the motherhood of invention. And I remember hearing that, and that was the start of capitalism. So, you know, what happened, people would invent a product that really solved a problem, and people needed that product. So I remember capitalism being really good in my early life, 70s and 80s, and I remember it, you know, just a cool product would come out that just solved some type of problem that we needed. It's like, whoa, where was that? I'm glad it's here. But there was flashes of things that were unnecessary that came out. Garbage Pail Kids, I remember that one was that came out, and everyone wanted it. All of a sudden needed to have Garbage Pail cards or whatever those, or the dolls. Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch. What was the garbage?
Those were things.
Yeah, there was yeah. The Garbage Pail cards and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Henry, you're killing me, buddy. And I remember then a lot of good. I remember a lot of good inventions in our lifetime before you guys were around. Maybe some of you, we got to see. We used to not have cell phones. We used to have to pick up our phone, and it was hooked to a cord, and we had to call people, and we couldn't drive with a cell phone, and you know. We had a rotary dial. It took like an hour to call someone. You had to go like this, and then the thing went all the way back around, and then you had to do it again, and you had to put in all 7 numbers or 8 numbers. And I remember in the 80s, my parents, in 1982, they got a Nissan Maxima, and in that car, it talked to you. So we were styling, you know, we just reached the upper class now because our car said the fuel level is low. It said the door is ajar. Parking brake is on. It told you all these things and talked to you. So I thought, man, me and my folks have made it, you know. So it seemed how capitalism was. There was some flashes of unnecessary items that people that they created, and then all of a sudden people needed them and wanted them and couldn't live without them. But it really took off in the 90s, just so you guys know. Younger people know there was no coffee stands. There was no, you know, Starbucks was, like, I think it was 1970s. They had the first Starbucks in Pioneer Square, wasn't it? 1971. And it went on for 20 years without an expansion, without Starbucks being what people would want. But I think that was probably one of the first times. And I remember you guys, just so you know, the internet used to be called the World Wide Web. Okay? When it came out, it was called the World Wide Web. And what happens is you hooked your computer up to your phone, and your computer had to dial into the World Wide Web. And then, and it was 1991 or 92 when I first saw this in action. My roommate in college, was going onto the internet, which meant our phone was going to be busy for the next 4 hours while he was on the internet, and you know, he was able to look at pictures or whatever he was. But there really wasn't, when the internet was, there wasn't websites yet. There was just weird shit that people had come up with. But all of a sudden we came up with computers, and then Starbucks and the internet, and Starbucks came out. And I learned today, oh, by the way, I did some research today. I like when people say that. It just means I Googled it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's this new comment everyone makes. I've been doing some research. You mean you've been Googling? Stop. I mean, we all see the top 5 things that come up when you Google anything. So stop saying you're doing research. You weren't in a lab. You weren't out there looking at microfilm. You were looking at Google like the rest of us. And so I looked at Google today, and I realized that Starbucks has 35,000 stores now. 35,000 stores. You imagine that? It has 16,000 stores in the U.S., which means almost 320 stores per state. 320. See, that's a case of supply creating the demand. See, so what happened was capitalism got bored. There's actually nothing else to invent. No one can invent anything that we need anymore. We have everything. So now what you have to do, because of greed, well, now we have to create a product that you don't even know you need and then sell it to you through your pain. So we have to tell you that you're in pain, and then we have to come up with a product that you don't even know, and your pain, we have to identify it. We have to find your pain to sell it to you. Nobody's calling up with pain saying, I need this. It's actually identifying some type of absence, sometimes some type of lack of, and then filling that need with your product. And inventing a product that product then creates a demand for the product, where the supply creates the demand. Used to be demand created the supply. So you'd have a big demand that came out with, oh, look at this handy broom. Oh man, I need that broom. That is a great product. All of a sudden you would now, that's everyone would start buying the broom, and that was a good system. But now it's different. I remember, have you guys ever seen the movie about all the social media sites that got together to addict everybody to Facebook, and they went and they found out how the little numbers above your globe and above that little one that when you get a friend request and all the little dings and the sounds, how they all sat in rooms and created how to get us addicted, how to actually sit in there, and they're all doing it like they're revealing the world, like they're sitting in there, and these are all former people that used to work for Facebook talking about what Facebook did to get the world addicted to Facebook. And it's like, yeah, no shit. You know, and they're all acting like good people now. Well, you sat in the room and you got us addicted to your product, and that's the new thing. See, the new thing is create a product that everybody needs, that they don't know they need, but once you give it to them, they have to have it. And that's the new game of capitalism. Create this crazy thing that everyone didn't know they needed, wasn't needed. It was, now we need it. Now we can't live without the internet. We cannot live without it. In fact, if it went away, just so you know, it wasn't necessary. But what they thought was, these people are all bored. We'll create a world that's not real. And they'll come into this world that's not real and feel better about themselves. This desperation has occurred now. So they're selling to our desperation. We're desperate. We're human beings that aren't validated. And everyone says this current drug addiction thing is caused by trauma. And I hear it over and over and over again. As if all the decades of America, now it's more traumatic to be a young person in America. As if we look at that, let's realistically look at that. All these decades, is it really more traumatic to be a young person now? See, I say it's not that this was caused by trauma, and it's not caused by pain. It's caused by our inability to handle pain. That's what's developed, is an absolute inability to handle anything, even as minuscule as boredom. I cannot handle boredom. I cannot handle sitting in my car without a radio. I cannot handle cooking. I can't cook a whole meal. I need a microwave. I need 3 minutes to get my food done. It's caused by an absolute inability to handle pain. Pain didn't get greater. Pain didn't start happening. Pain was the same. Pains remained constant. Wow, we even have something, what I see now is secondhand trauma. I see people, it's like, I didn't go through it, but my friend did. My parents got divorced. Well, did you get divorced? I mean, it used to be like somebody got divorced and then maybe they started drinking too much and their life collapsed but now it's somebody else has gotten divorced, which caused my collapse. I can't even handle the fact that other people broke up. I can't handle that, secondhand trauma. My friend was in an accident. And by the way, I grew up my whole life and trauma was only in the ER. My whole entire life, I went 40 years without hearing the word trauma unless it related to a car accident, unless it related to a gunshot wound, unless it related to something going in the emergency. Now I hear, divorce is trauma? Really? A spanking is trauma? Really? They didn't get their way is trauma? Mom and dad split up? Really? That's been happening forever. Why is it trauma now? So this development of all these new things that people have grabbed on in this utter Noah Levine, he's a Buddhist teacher and he's really good and he's big in the recovery world, and they asked him, and it was brilliant, they asked him what is it that you would do for a kid to make him not a drug addict. And he just said one word, or two words. He said, normalize pain. He said, I would teach my kid to deal with pain. And that's it. See, so now drug addiction is no different. They are capitalists. And their capitalism, they've worked and created a product that met our pain. You know, heroin wasn't good enough. You know why? Because it was too expensive. They needed a cheaper version of heroin to sell to us because the heroin wasn't no longer flying off the shelf. People were running out of money. So now we need a different version to sell you. So they came up with a new product called fentanyl. And fentanyl now is $3 a pill or $2 a pill. So it just can get tossed out to the masses. And, you know, if you were around in the 80s, you know that painkiller, those are something your grandma talked about. You know, your grandma had a few for her surgery on her hip. But no one knew about pain pills in the 80s and early 90s. It was about 1998, if you were around, where these products started coming out that we didn't know we needed, but they told us we needed it. You know, remember Adderall came out. We didn't know we needed it. Shit, for the whole, from, you know, 1880 to 1980, nobody ever needed Adderall. But all of a sudden now, you got ADD.
First it was Ritalin.
So now, yeah, they said Ritalin and Adderall. They said, listen, you guys all got ADD. You need this. And we just bought into it, you know? And you know, I'm not saying this is the government, or I'm not saying it's anything, but they're not stopping it. And what they're doing is they're blaming all of you. They're blaming all the families for this. And what's happened is they spread a fire hose of opiates across the country. And they did something. They invented the pain chart. So you could go into a clinic and actually rate your own pain, as if any drug addict has ever went in there and went, I'm just a 2. It's like 100% 10. Oh, is there an 11? I'm an 11. You know, and they developed this pain chart. Who does that? Who would let the patient start rating their own health? Well, these people, because they know if the guy says he's a 10, they get to prescribe more. If you've seen the sickening movie on Hulu called Dope Sick, and you see, this is actually what they did. They actually went and created a product that we didn't know we needed, and then we got it, and the supply created a demand, and now we can't live without it. And this is all formed because they know we have an inability to handle pain. And so they're preying, marketing is preying, and these are marketing companies, this fentanyl dealers. These are marketing companies, the meth dealers. The weed, they preyed upon our inability to handle pain. Not only was our weed not good enough forever, it's now had to be improved. We now need to make oils, and we need to make that. No one, in the 80s, you smoking a joint, I don't need that shit. Just give me a doobie. But now they've told you it's not enough. You're in pain. You need CBD, and you need oils, and you need dabs, and you need all this stuff. And now it's causing suicidal ideations, and everyone's going nuts. And we're wondering what happened. So here it is. This supply has created the demand. What is the cause of drug addiction? Drugs. What is the cause of internet addiction? Internet. The internet caused internet addiction. If there was no internet, people weren't in so much pain. They're like, I just need the internet. No. You created the internet, you told us that we needed it, and now we're in pain without it. You created Facebook, you told us we needed it, it eased our pain, and we are a group of Americans now that pain is a different level. Pain is waiting 3 minutes in a line. Pain is not getting my way. Pain is not anything real. It's this new thing that we all need to solve everything with something. Shopping or whatever it is. Look at all the look at all the unnecessary. Oh, I remember one. They told me I needed Michael Jordans in 1986. They came out with the Michael Jordan shoe, and oh my God! As soon as I seen that shoe, I knew I needed it, and there it was. And now all of a sudden, $100 Nikes we're all needing now because they put it up there and they marketed it to us. They're marketing the drugs the same way. It's the same thing that's happening. They're throwing them out there and they say, "Get a little taste of this," and then you get a taste of it. And you learn. So, you know, if you have ever done opiates, and you guys, you know, Bob Forrest said it best. He said, I didn't know I needed opiates until I took them. Yeah. And he said, once I took them, it took me to a place beyond worry. Just a place beyond worry, this heavenly place that it takes you to. And once you take it, you're done. You're done. And they gave us that. We shouldn't have had access to it, but we got access to it. You know, I'm not taking any... And I'm not here to be a victim. by the way. I'm not here to say there's nothing that we could have done better. But this is what's here. So I'm trying to get people to be done listening to this whole idea that I've had an upper middle class family. I raised my kids. All of my brothers and sisters are this way, and everyone's doing good. But this one person in our family is out, and they've become addicted to drugs, and somehow we have to blame trauma on that. When we all had the same childhood, we all went to Hawaii. We all were entitled. No, this one particular person had some angst. They were too bored. They were jittery. They couldn't sit still. And rather than have them sit still, we said, oh God, he's got something. He must have ADD. He must have a deficit of something because he can't sit still. Rather than saying, that's just a hyper kid that needs to sit still. We couldn't do that. We couldn't say, hey, sit there. So what do we do here? See, in 1950, it didn't matter if you threw a fire hose of opiates out in this community, because the men in the community weren't entitled. They handled pain. They weren't worse at it. They were better. These men just got back from World War II. They just got back from Vietnam. They worked from the time they were 14 to the time that they were whatever. They had a paper route. Young kids on bikes at 6:30 a.m. going out delivering the paper to entire communities. You know, all across the papers were delivered. Now you know how papers are delivered? I hate it when I see it. It's like a car with some lady tossing it out the window, and it doesn't even matter where it goes or anything. It's just so lazy. Like, I deliver the papers now. Huh. Just in her pajamas, just tossing fucking. Like, what the fuck? You know, taking that job from a kid that it was turning his life. Don't be a paper route person. Come on, take.
It's always got a Prius.
Yeah. Just throwing out the paper randomly wherever.
Plastic bag on
You're like walking over to the neighbors trying to find your paper. There it is, you know. And so capitalism has gotten bored, and they're not making enough money. So now they've figured out an ingenious thing to do. They've figured out a way to create products that we have to have, and so have the drug dealers. And it's no different than the difference between a drug addict and a human being is the product that they consume. That's it. There is no difference. You have this product. You need your coffee every day. They told you needed it. They created it. And then they said you got to go every day. And you find yourself having to drive there first before you go anywhere. And you're wondering why you're 5 minutes late to work because you had to stop and get your coffee. Because they told you needed it. They said, here's a product. You need it. You didn't say, I need this. You would have never even cared about it. Bottled water. All our life we drink water. That's what we did. And now it's just free. It's right there in the thing. You just go and have some water. But now they told us we needed it bottled. They had to preface it and say it's not healthy enough in that tap. You need it this way. And so all of a sudden, here we go. Crates and crates of water running down there because we're so susceptible to whatever they want to sell us. So what is the cause of this addiction? Two things. Capitalism and our inability to handle pain. And capitalistic. That's what it is. It capitalizes on our pain. That's what it does. It says here, we're gonna deliver you some product that you don't even know you need, and once we give it to you, you're screwed. You're gonna need it forever. You won't be able to live without it. You can't even get rid of it. And we're getting sold on it everywhere. And it's and handling pain is what we're all here. See, and I don't know if pain caused addiction or addiction caused pain, but I like to lean towards the side of addiction causes more pain. And so maybe we weren't all traumatized. We weren't, but we are now. Now we are. Now we're sitting here throwing pain on each other, dumping pain. We're all in pain now. Everybody, yeah, when you live up here and you feel opiates and you feel meth and you feel weed that's really good, normal life becomes painful. Just the everyday waking up to normal life becomes a really painful way to live. They've showed us how to walk a higher path, and now we don't want to walk that lower path because we want stimulants and excitement, and we can't live without these things. And so what is the answer in our families and everyone? It's seeing what is pain, seeing how to handle it, and understanding that we all have to become manufacturers of pain. We have to become people that are capable of handling pain. We have to reestablish, otherwise we'll be left susceptible to any product comes out to take our pain away. So Dave Stampiglia is here, and he's recently had a broken fibia? Femur, a broken femur. and he's had a stroke and a broken femur. And I asked him, of course I knew the answer before I asked him. I go, did they give you any pain pills? Have you started on them? And I knew what the answer was going to be. Absolutely not. I didn't take any pain pills because I broke my femur. He said, no, I took some ibuprofen, a little ice, drank a glass of water, and went to bed like a man. And that's gone nowadays. But why is Dave, coming from a different generation, able to handle that kind of pain? And why are other people so susceptible? Why? You see, what happened here? What happened is we began taking any form of pain. We couldn't stand seeing kids cry anymore. We couldn't stand seeing somebody not be able to sit still and tell them they just need to sit still. We told them, you need medication because you're bothering me, jumping around and not sitting still. We didn't say that. My teacher, Kevin Gaunt was his name. That was the one kid that couldn't sit still. I still remember his name. He liked to put gum in the, he put some gum in the pencil sharpener so it wouldn't work. You know, he couldn't sit still. He was a nightmare in class. I mean, the kid was just, and I remember what they called him. They called him Hyper Kevin. And the antidote for Hyper Kevin was a half hour of detention with his head down. That was it. Kevin, detention, put your head down. Okay. Chilled him out a bit. You know what I mean? You put your head down for a half hour, you wake up, you know, you don't want to do that anymore. So this thing about normalizing pain, what does it mean? What does it look like? And what I've had to learn how in my recovery is there's only one way. And first of all, you have to see how we're dumping our pain on each other. You have to see how families are handling pain. You have to see what the number one pain reliever in America is. And it's bigger than shopping. It's bigger than drugs. It's bigger than the internet. It's bigger. Oh, remember they told us, God, now imagine a day where like you're looking at a Playboy. You're a kid and you got this innocent little Playboy that you're looking at that you found at your neighbor's house or something. And now, and they were to tell you back then, you're going to need porn on your phone, portable, and you're going to have to carry it around with you. Now they've sold us that we need porn on our phone. It's not even good enough that you have a CD or something. That's not fast enough. That's not good enough. You got to be able to go into a bathroom and just log in and start watching your porn site. The ladies are all like, what? Is that what you guys do? And the guys are like, yeah, they're not admitting it, but they do. You know? We need instant porn. It's not even good enough to have it old school, you know? We got to be more stimulated. We need to have everything at our fingertips. So, what is the number one pain reliever in the world beyond all this, beyond gambling, beyond, it's one thing. It's venting and complaining. It's being a victim. Righteousness is the reliever of our pain. So every time you see somebody that's resentful or angry or upset, I want you to see that person, there's two things going on with the person who's complaining or upset. There's two things going on. The first thing is going on is they're in pain. The first thing that's going on is they're in pain, and the second thing that's going on is it's not their fault. Somebody should change but them. So you see this beautiful pain reliever is, I don't like what's happening in my world. It's not my fault. It's somebody else's. I'm a victim. And I'm very righteous about it. And this is how human beings now in America handle pain. By righteousness. So we've turned pain into righteousness. If I go and I have a lady and she blocks my speed at the store and she's in her cart and I can't get by the cart, then I come home and I go, I can't believe these people. I was at the store and she's just so slow. They don't even know how to push their cart. And I become righteous and I'm superior. And if I go and the restaurant doesn't cook my food right, I complain about that. And I say how great of a restaurateur I am compared to them. And with everything, if I drive, oh my God, look at how these people drive. I've got to drive with people like that, just righteous drivers. Because you're in pain and you can't get where you want to go. Easy. I know you can't handle pain of somebody coming in your way. But this righteousness is how everyone does it. The complaining about your boss, the complaining about your coworkers, the complaining about your neighbors, the complaining about every detail of your life. And what is it? This complaining is a pain reliever because it's the desperation of us. It's the lack of validation. It's that we no longer get validated, that no more do even people know how to get validated. Do you know how to be validated? There is only one way. The right thing, long enough, over a consistent period of time. That's it. And you can only be validated by your results. That's it. But people now want to be validated with 0 results. I have no results in my life, but I still want to be validated, and I'm desperate for it. So I'm going to post my food on Facebook and tell how I wanted to start this thing where I'm going to do a 30-day campaign. I don't post on Facebook, but I'm going to start. And I'm going to do a 30-day campaign of how I'm better than you. And you know, I'm just going to, one day it's going to be, I eat better than you. Here, look. The next day it's going to be, my car's nicer than yours. Here, look, I'm going to take a picture of my car. But I won't take a picture. What I'm going to say when I take a picture of my car is I'm going to say what they all say. I did a thing. I did a thing. And then they take a picture of their stupid car. You know? And then I'm going to take a picture of my house, and I'm going to tell you I'm better than you at my house. And then I'm going to take a picture of, I'm going to take a picture of my vacation, and I'm just saying, I have a funner life than you. Here's my vacation. Where are you at? You at home? I'm on another vacation. And I'm going to take another stupid vacation and another stupid one. And I'm just going to tell everybody every day how much better I am than them. And that is what is going on Facebook with the desperation, and that's it. You cannot disguise it. Oh, here's a big one. Lululemon. They came out and told us we need yoga pants. They told all the women that they needed yoga pants. But by the way, none of these women are going to yoga. But here they are, still wearing the pants. I'm not hating on it. I mean, it's all right.
My favorite color is yoga.
But think of that. These guys are sitting around going, look at what we need to do is be able to sell yoga pants to people that don't do yoga. At ridiculous prices. And everyone just, I don't go. It said yoga. Imagine if it said bicycle pants for us men. And we just all go and buy bicycle pants and just ride around with those short little, I'm just going to get out of my car in those short little, well, do you ride a bike? No, but I love the pants. It's got the little crotch pad in it.
Lululemon does sell men's pants, and then those comfortable pants.
Yeah, let's, you know. But think of how ridiculous capitalism has got. So now we've gotten to this pain reliever that, look, it ain't working. Venting and complaining, it's not working. It's this constant thing where I need to go do my day, and then I come home and I either have a drink or I have some drugs or I get on the internet or I soothe myself or I complain. And what we're trying to teach people here, and what we need to teach people here, if pain is not the cause, but pain's in there somewhere. And all this mess is pain. And all this mess is a lack of us handling pain. And so learning to handle pain is kind of what we're all here for. And there really is only one genuine way to handle pain. It's to take pain, to take what's not going your way, and turn it into acceptance. That's it. And there's only one way to be validated, by your results. So now you have to live this hard life that's very difficult. That you have to actually, you can't do cheap ways to be validated. You have to be validated by your results. And that takes a long time. You have to look at your life on paper and kind of like go, hey, and for the first time in America, we're listening to people that live in their parents' basement. It's the first time ever. Those people were never listened to for 100 years. If you lived in your parents' basement, nobody listened to you. And now people just can get on Facebook and tell us about ourselves, and they're on their parents' basement with no results. So why don't they go worry about, you know, what it is that we're doing here? Like, move your life forward and get the results and feel proud of yourself and have self-esteem for what you've accomplished. So that's how we get validated, through our accomplishments. And now people are trying to be validated with no accomplishment. You have accomplished 0, and you want to be validated and told you're great. That's crazy. And because of that, the desperation ensues. So when they throw pain pills, well, that's a good feeling. You know, getting a pain pill down your throat and eating it is a lot like feeling validated. You get the same chemicals. You get some serotonin, you get some dopamine, you go, I am okay. I am okay. Everything's fine. I thought I didn't know how to talk to girls. I thought I didn't know how to act in social situations, but I was wrong. When I get these pills, I'm great. And then you always get the comic, like the Homer Simpson comic, you know, what you look like and what you think you look like. And Homer Simpson did one, and He's prestigious. He's wearing a suit, and he's sitting in the bar, and he's drinking like a martini. And then it says what Homer thinks he looks like, and then what Homer really looks like. He's wearing a wife beater, and his beer's spilt all over his shirt, and his hair's, and it's like that's kind of going on, So learning to handle pain, that's it. I turn pain into acceptance. It doesn't go my way. I take a breath. That didn't go my way. I deal with it right now. I deal with it in my body. I deal with all the pain right here. I can feel it, sit with it, allow for it, be with it. Oh, things aren't going my way. There's traffic. I did the other night. I had a terrible poker session and didn't deal with my pain the greatest way, but it was screaming in my car when I got out, and then I looked like I hadn't shut my door all the way, and I'm yelling the F word pretty loud, ah! And then this guy walks by and he looks at me, and I'm like, dude, sorry, but that's me not being able to handle my pain and then venting it out, and I get there too. And so there's preferable ways. There's like venting isn't bad. That's going to be better than stuffing it and not. But you want to vent before you do drugs. So not venting is worse. Keeping it all in is worse. But the preferable way, the actual way to get to turn pain into this is, okay, I have pain. I want to deal with it. I don't want to use strategies and tantrums, and I want to be able to deal with my emotions, and I want to have those emotions and look at them, and that's what we call power around here. So power is actually just a measurement of somebody's ability to handle pain. That's it. That's the more powerful you are. The more you can handle your emotions, the more you can handle pain, the more power you have. The less you can handle your emotions, the less pain you can handle, the weaker you are. And that's just it. And people haven't really decided that they wanted to be identified as powerful yet. People have now in our country rather be identified as a victim. This is how it is right now. I don't know how we fix that, but that's just what's going on. If people can tell you how bad their life sucks, how many people have wronged them, how much failure, how they're oppressed at work, how nobody listens to them, they're not heard. If they can say these things, then they seem to think that that's the way that people will look at their life and be impressed with it. And so that's just what's going on. And not many times anymore, it's very hard to have accomplishments right now, and that goes back to my conspiracy theory. It's hard to buy a home these days. It's hard to have these good old classic American accomplishments because, like I said, they're up here, capitalism, giving us products that we think that we didn't know we needed, and now we can't live without, and that's where all our money's going, to these consumer products. And we are consumers, and we're consuming fentanyl and weed and meth, just like people are consuming the internet and every stupid app that someone creates that you think you need, and everything that tracks your steps, and every little thing that you have to have now, and the coffee and the step tracker and on that everyone's got to have. Our watches, oh, there it is, the watch, you get your messages come directly. Pretty soon the messages they'll create pretty soon. We won't need any electronics. We won't need anything. We'll just sit here. And Evan, my friend, we were in LA, and he just went like this over the debit thing. Yeah. He has so his debit card just boop, right there. He doesn't need a wallet, nothing. Pretty soon, yeah.
When your number's stolen, you have to get an.
I don't know if it's an implant or his. I don't.
It's your watch.
Oh, is it? They have implants. I've heard of this. Evan might have had an implant.
They do.
But I'm just telling you, they're going to keep creating products that we won't know we need, and then when they create them, it's not. Necessity is no longer the motherhood of invention. Capitalism is the motherhood of invention. Actually making money on a product that we can figure out. And the same thing that, just like I always say, you all were here at 9/11, and you all saw the anthrax scare, and they were able to shut the country down if there was some white powder on an envelope, and everyone would stop, and the whole world would stop, and hazmat would come out because maybe somebody might get this white powder on their skin or everything. Fentanyl's killing 305 people a day, and nothing. Nothing. And it's coming in, by the way, in truckloads. So dump trucks are bringing in fentanyl, and babies are dying because they're touching it, and everyone is dying out there at a higher rate than COVID ever did, at the higher rate of everything, and you got to wonder if that's suspicious or not. And you got to think that's very suspicious. We got something killing people more than COVID, and we don't talk about it at all. And we can't track how it's getting here. Well, they figured out how cocaine got here in 1981, right? Nicaragua and all the gun trade and that product, crack cocaine, that really was similar. That product created a demand. That product came out, and all of a sudden, no one knew they needed crack. But once they smoked it, sure knew they needed it. And there's that, and it just keeps happening to us. And we keep fighting amongst our families, and we keep blaming each other, and we say, you didn't treat me right, and I do drugs because you didn't treat me right, and you didn't treat me right here, so now I do drugs. That is cruel. That's cruel. Do you know how many people you haven't treated right? What if they came back to you and said, my addiction's all because you didn't treat me right? You traumatized me. You didn't treat me right. You know how many women I haven't treated right? Put through trauma? Jesus, I probably created like 10 drug addicts. They probably could come back to me and say that. So, this is what we're here for. How do you turn pain into acceptance? How do you learn to handle your pain? How do we learn to sit? I think the biggest cause of addiction, the biggest pain that people are actually dealing with in America is simply boredom. I think that's the whole thing. Can you sit at a stoplight and not look at your phone? I can't. I got to grab that thing. Can you sit on your break and not look at your phone? I bet you can't. Can you sit at dinner and not look at your phone the whole time? I bet you can't. I bet you got to have it. You're addicted. That's what it's like to consume a product that you can't live without. If you can't figure out addiction, I just figured it out for you. I don't know how people can be drug addicts, really. You have a product that you do every day and you can't live without. Your phone. You can't figure out now. You consume it, whatever product you consume, you're addicted to too. It's just might be a little healthier product. But don't worry, you're an addict. And we don't have to get down to the cause of you. Why are you addicted to your phone? We're not sitting here saying that. Everyone knows why, because you got a phone. But we're not sitting here doing studies of how people got addicted to their phones. Oh, they must have been traumatized and beaten as a kid. They can't stop staring at their phone. They're addicted. No. It's a good product. It's a very addicting product. Just like you think your phone's addicting, try some fentanyl. That shit's addicting. You try to take a kid of crack cocaine and tell me you don't want another one? You won't be able to do it. That's normal people. So, questions or comments or whatever, but, if we don't start as families turning pain into acceptance, being able to tell truth to each other and not go run and get loaded, being able to actually say the things and sitting there and facing it when now our biggest pain is don't criticize me at all for anything I do or I'm going to get upset and defend myself. Nobody can be criticized anymore. It's offensive. Literally offensive. If your boss doesn't say, hey, you're great. You should be empowered to make choices around here. Everyone gets upset like, maybe you're not great, but he's going to tell you you're great because that's just what we got to do nowadays because nobody can handle any criticism. You can't be told that maybe you're doing something wrong. What happened?
No, laptop.
Okay.
Are we ready to open it up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's open it up. So everybody at home, you know the drill. You can use the raise your hand feature to let us know you have a comment, a question. And then, of course, those of you who are there at Kent's, please, we want to hear from you. Who's first?
I always just hope to give people a different take because I don't buy anything I see on TV. And as soon as they turn on the TV nowadays and they tell me where my addiction came from and they don't know me, I got to get very suspicious.
All right, the Fritzers. Let's
And
get
Dave's
you.
next.
Hi, this is Lori.
Oh, whoops. Let's find Lori.
Can you hear me?
I can. We can't see you, so I can't put you on spotlight because I can't see you.
Well, okay, if I was to figure out how to turn the camera on again, that would take way too long.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, I feel like this talk is absolutely fabulous. I have been to a lot of rehab and rebuild and recovery, and this has never once been mentioned. Well, not mentioned the just feeling the pain and getting through it has never been mentioned as a physical thing. It has been mentioned as an emotional thing, like just walk through the pain, experience it, do it. Don't just let it build up and blah, blah, blah. But all our lives, so like I was born in 57, all my life, there was a pill for everything. That was the way we've been trained, so that you never have to feel any pain. Well, in my later years now, I have realized that that is hogwash, because first of all, even ibuprofen and Tylenol will destroy your liver. It's just not even worth it. I just don't run to that before it's absolutely necessary. And I realized that years could go by and no headache really warranted that. Anyway, I just want to say, I think this is super valuable. To not be entitled, to not expect every little whim to go your way, to toughen up, to take responsibility, to carry your own backpack. When your own backpack is too heavy, yes, you ask for help, but you don't ask somebody to carry your backpack for you. Anyway, I just think this is fabulous. And you feel the pain, you man up, and then you have that sense of accomplishment. And yeah, you don't blame other people for it. That's ridiculous. So anyway, loving what you said, Art. Absolutely loving it.
Thanks, Lori.
I remember a long time ago, George Carlin said it before he died. He says, you don't need people to get together for there to be a conspiracy. And, you know, it's not that the Democrats and Republicans are getting together to conspire against us, because they couldn't. They're not smart enough and they hate each other. So, but what does happen is that Big Pharma donates a lot of money to both sides. And both sides need that money. And so, you know, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to tell America that there's a pill for everything, and you're going to accept that, and you're not going to rail against that, and you're not going to have a political campaign that stands against anything. You're going to actually go with it because you got to keep your mouth shut, because you know where the money's coming. Same people that create Facebook, the same people that create social media are also buying all these politicians. So what are you going to do? You got to pander to them, and you can't just get up there and tell America that they need to handle their pain and get away from these capitalistic companies that are capitalizing on that pain. There's nothing you can do. So that's how something's formed that is pushing us down as the middle class. And for the first time, I look out there at the people in my program and go, you guys can't get an apartment. I'm sorry. You can't buy a house. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to do it for a while. And with the interest rates now, I know, you know, you're going to have to make $150,000 a year to be able to buy a $600,000 house, and that still might not do it. So
it's not even worth 600. I mean,
yeah,
somebody's paying it, but yeah.
And that's what's happened in this COVID divide, and ever since then, and it's really formed this housing crisis, and it's real, and you know, no one's coming to help us, and you know, this is and this I can trace back to, you know, us buying the goods of people that you know tell us we need their products, and we do, because we can't sit out on our porch and drink a cup of coffee that was made for 2 cents out of our pot anymore. We have to go and run and buy their products, and we can't drink water out of the tap anymore. We can't, you know, live without the internet, and we can't live without Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. We can't even go shopping anymore. It's too painful. So, yeah, I need Amazon Prime to come by my house 4 times tomorrow. It comes to the Vegas house 6 times a day. You know, I mean, it's like, and we go to the store 6 times a day. It's like, didn't that store you were just at have that? Yeah, but I like the excitement of my package showing up. I'm addicted to that. Yeah, I like it. So I order of like 10 or 15 packages because it gets me high because I get to wait for it tomorrow and it cures some of my boredom. And so when my package shows up, I get a lift of serotonin and dopamine, and I see that Amazon Prime truck come out there, and I get some adrenaline, and I'm addicted.
And where do you see? You see that a lot in older people.
Huh?
You see that a lot in, elderly people. Wait, ordering things from catalogs so they can wait for them to come in and
Yeah.
get something that day.
Yes.
Like waiting for the dope, man.
It is. There's the drug dealer. He's dealing out, Pez dispensers and some of the products that we have down at the Vegas house that we didn't know we needed, but now we do. One of them is a ice roller. You can't take some ice and rub it on your head. You need this rolling device that they got that freezes in the freezer, and you just sit there and roll the ice. We learned that we need a new thing for bug bites. This thing goes on your skin and then sucks up, and somehow it's sucking the venom out, but there's never any liquid in this thing or anything. And so now we've had to buy that. Dogs can no longer chew on sticks, by the way. You're a criminal if your dog chews on sticks or anything out in the yard. You must buy them these $45 chew toy, and they'll throw it to the side and eat the couch. Or the sticks. And you'll have about $1,000 worth of chew toys and bones piled up in your garbage by the time you're done. We need it. They told us we needed it. They told us your dog needs a chew toy. He's going to chew the couch still, and your cat needs the scratching post. Of course, he's going to come out and do your couch, but look he gets this contraption that you just paid $150 for him to climb around on too.
We have 5.
Yeah. We're addicted to everything.
True.
Nobody can make it. Just have a day with no phone. Make it. See if you can make it. I can't.
I've been doing it.
Yeah.
You make me worse.
Hi, Lisa.
So when are you going to start working on those phones, Art?
I openly admitted to being an addict. I'm an open addict. My sports is on there. My TikTok videos, I gotta have those. Where else are you gonna watch porn? I mean, what are you gonna do? Then everyone also goes, I gotta have my phone. It's got my bank. But I was in a panic last night. I got done playing cards. I went out to my car, and somehow my phone fell out of my pocket to the side of my seat, but it was dark, so I couldn't really see it, and I had stopped. Just so you guys know, it's really weird. I went to 2 7-Elevens last night at like midnight or 1, and both closed. I was like, what the hell? I went to 2 a.m. PMs, both closed. Everything on Benson from Renton all the way around, nothing open. No food, no store, only Safeway. Everything else was closed. And then I went, and so I'd stopped at these places and got out of my car, and mistakenly these people, when they close, they don't turn any of the lights off or do anything, so you go up and pull the door. And then I got, and I couldn't find my phone, and then panic ensued. How am I going to live? What am I going to do? I might have dropped it when I went, and I imagined this world where I had to wait till I got to Verizon at 10 a.m. tomorrow to have my phone, and I'm in a state of panic, driving 100 miles an hour, trying to find the phone that I dropped, and then, of course, it was right by my seat, but, you lose your phone, there's a panic. I left my phone.
Wallet.
It's not like a wallet. People are like, phone panic. Yeah, I don't know.
It's all true.
Yeah.
It's all true. The whole phone thing. I recently went on a camping trip up to Mount Rainier. No phone service, no power, blah, blah, blah. It was absolutely magnificent. I learned to read novels again. And I was absolutely shocked. I've been hooked on Netflix for years. I was absolutely shocked at reading a novel again and how the characters are fleshed out and how it is 1,000 times better. The book is 1,000 times better than the movie. Anyway, it was totally awesome. And I'm always trying to figure out, what don't I need? Like all these things they invent for us, like you're talking about, that you spend all your money on. It's all so crazy. I mean, now that I don't want to blow off money like when I was young, it's just like, why? Why? My son's like, why don't you get fancy wheels for your car? I'm like, why? Who gives a rip? I couldn't care less. Again, it's kind of an age thing. When you're young, it matters. But the whole thing about putting yourself in debt for the biggest house you can possibly get, the best car you can possibly get, is 100% bullshit. Don't mind the French. And I know it's French because my mom told me that was French. But it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how you talk young people out of it, but putting your whole life on hold and being a complete slave to a mortgage and these car payments, absolute bullshit. Just get what you need and do the things that are absolutely beneficial, like your connections with other human beings.
So, by the way, donate to my campaign over www.artforgovernor.com. Yeah.
I know. Whenever something crazy happens, I'm like, well, how did this happen? Well, they did not consult me. Anyway, y'all let you get back to it.
I'll tell you how I read a book. I listen to it on Audible, and then I not only that, I'm worse than that. I make it 1.75 speed. So the guy's just like,
seriously,
you gotta listen relatively, but it's
I read really slow.
Down to 4 hours.
I probably read about as fast as I can talk. But yeah, I mean, the reading thing, I used to love it, gave it up years ago because Netflix became oh so awesome. But yeah, getting away from your phone for a while, and even like, so I have a motorhome, blah, blah, blah. I go camping. I'm on the like little Facebook pages. All they talk about is how to get more power, how to get more solar, how to get lithium batteries. I'm like, screw that. Why don't you just like figure out how to not even need electricity when you're camping? How about that? How about that? Who
Yeah, got
needs
her Art for Governor.
Mankind didn't need it for multi-thousands of years, and we survived.
Lori, you're going to be my running mate. We're going for it.
All right, there you go. Okay, I'll sign off.
All right, thank you.
Did you say Dave had something too?
Yeah, what was Dave going to say?
A little while back, I went over to my sister's house just to pay her a visit. She lives locally over here in Norman Park, and she's when she was going to med school at UW, they had the representatives coming in from the drug manufacturers to speak to the students.
Mm-hmm.
And we got into a discussion about what Chris, Pam, and I were all dealing with narcotics and that. And my sister's, it's funny to watch her because you can watch her brain just clicking over.
Oblivious.
Very quiet. She's just staring at me. And then finally she goes, they lied to us.
They think.
Absolutely sat there and lied to us. The representatives at that time were coming into the universities, into the med programs, and were teaching the students that were going out into the medical world that the narcotics at that time, the pharmaceuticals that were being put on the market by these corporations were not addictive.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what was so great about the new drugs that were coming out by these corporations, is they were not addictive.
Did you see the whole in the Dope Sick show? If you guys have seen this, It was a great system because if the pain pills weren't working, because they told them that they would work. First of all, they told them they're non-addictive and they would work. So when they started not working and they came up with a thing called that's breakthrough pain. We've just developed it. It's just like breakthrough pain. It's not. And so what they did was they go, you know what you do with breakthrough pain? You just up the dose, and they just taught them to up the dose every time. So they had a great system of selling that product, and it's not unlike any other of these products that were being sold. And victims. I'm not saying we're all victims here, but we're naive. And you took your kid to the doctors, and you believed in that. And
Very, very suspicious.
yeah, you just believed in what those doctors had to say, and at some point, maybe not. But again, we got to put back the responsibility here and go, well, we also began, they say this thing called enabling or codependency, and I always thought for my whole life, or in early recovery, and when I started doing this stuff, for a while there, I thought that addiction created codependency. I thought that's how it worked. I thought somebody became an addict, and that their mother then became, and I'm not saying this is true or not, but I'm saying it's possible that codependency created addiction. That because I take my kids' pain away and I want them to do good, they haven't learned how to handle pain. And, and that not handling pain thing led to an entitlement, leading to not have to have pain, which led to I'm bored so I can feel okay using drugs because I'm entitled to both that and I'm entitled to recovery too. That's another thing people think they're entitled to. It's the new thing too. I'm entitled to get clean. You're not entitled to get clean. It's hard as hell. In fact, most people that get caught up in drug addiction never get out. So you got to work at it, and it's tough. And when you think you're entitled to it, you just think you can lay around and not do anything about it. Just understand that you're stepping on the toes of all of us that have done it, and we know how hard it is. Getting clean is hard. Nobody's entitled to it. It's something you got to earn and accomplish. And getting clean is an accomplishment that you can put down as something to be proud of and get validation from.
So, Art,
Yes.
we were talking about Adderall earlier, and I'm sure maybe a lot of the kids here maybe you were told, or your parents were told that you were, had ADD or ADHD or whatever, and they said, you need to put them on this, otherwise they're going to self-medicate.
Yeah, there's
so
a good.
they scare you
Yeah.
into giving your kid, that's kind of like everything they told us to give Brett. That made things worse.
The problem is that I think ADD is a sign of leadership. You see, if I got ADD, which I was diagnosed with ADD, I'm able to think of a lot of things at one time. I'm able to cover a lot of ground. Thank God for my attention disorder, because I don't just focus on one thing. I can simultaneously focus on what this person's doing and what this person's doing and what this person, and I think good leaders need that skill. So maybe by medicating, we're taking leaders out of the world. We're taking people that actually, have this capacity to think of a lot of things at once and saying, no, don't do that. Focus on this. Maybe, I think it's just worth a discussion about, for all of us, about what it is that's really going on here and raising our awareness to, don't just listen. See, like, just so you guys know, everyone always asks me if I've seen something on addiction. Like, have you seen this movie or have you seen this thing? And my answer is absolutely not. If it says addiction on TV, I've turned it off. I didn't watch it. I'm not watching it because I live it real life, and I don't need this person who hasn't lived it real life to tell me about what it is. And and if you're going to tell me the trauma's involved, I'm not watching it. I don't care. I'm not listening. I'm not buying it, and I don't want you to sell it to me. And pain has not increased in America. In fact, it's had to have decreased. The amount of pain that the young people are going through today has had to have decreased. And to the point where somebody at 8 years old, 9 years old cannot sit still. 10 years old, 15 years old. Just look at any restaurant you go to and watch a family sit there. 4 people on their phones at a restaurant together. That's the angst. That's what's been created by this stimulant world that they put out there for us to buy into. 1980, my dad drove in a car. We drove in as a family. I couldn't even have the radio on. Drove all the way to North Dakota. Nothing. You had nothing. Couldn't even have a book, really, because if you had a book, you'd get car sick. So you just rode in the car, for 30, 20 hours. I remember actually I had a gobstopper. I remember they bought me a gobstopper in North Dakota, and I was able to suck that thing off. But that's what you had.
Yep.
And I'd go, turn the radio on. No, we're not listening to that noise. We can talk. You sang 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Radio station thing.
Yeah, out in North Dakota, there's no station, anyways. But that's how.
Play Slug Bug. Watch for VW bugs. Slug Bug.
Oh yeah, slug bug. Slug bug. Beer bottles on the wall.
He's looking at me.
Yeah, that's how it was.
I would spell words with signs, traffic signs, just spell words, mix them up, spell words as fast as I could.
I was with my ex, but she had a son. His name was Brendan, and he was playing video games one morning, and he kept calling me into the video games to tell me how realistic it is. So he's like got a mountain and a horse and a guy on the horse fighting people and whatever it is, and he's like, look at how real this horse looks. Look at how real this man looks. Look at how real this mountain looks. And then we were driving down Pack Highway almost to Milton and into Milton, and the Mount Rainier was there, and I go, look at how real that mountain looks. And I was like, look at how real that horse looks. Look at how real that man looks. He's like, you don't even want to see it. He doesn't care at all. I don't want to look at that mountain. I want to look at my fake mountain when I get home on the video game. Please don't make me look at a real mountain. That's agonizing. Oh, Mom, you're so boring. Dad, you're so boring. Real mountains and real people we got to look at? We were a kid, used to drive down to South Center Mall on our bikes. It was like 7 miles or whatever it is down to South Center, but you rode your bike all the way there, and you got down there and you just looked for girls. You didn't have anything else to do. You just walked through the mall and looked for new girls. It was awesome. Go look for girls. If I tell a kid now to look for girls, they'll go on social media. Oh, no, I'll look for girls. I got it right here. I always like it too when I tell people they got to go look for. You got to go look for a job. They're like, okay. Like, what? That's how we look for jobs now? It is. You're like stupid to go to a place and go, can I have a job? You're an idiot. What are you doing here?
Fill it out online.
Yeah.
What do you think that's actually how you get jobs, though?
You'd be not. You think. Remember, used to. Back in the day, my parents, I was here and I was addicted to drugs and addicted to playing poker. And so my dad, every day I was here, and he's like, well, if you're going to live here, you got to get a job. So I put a suit on, and then every day I would wake up and put that suit on, because back then that's how you did it. You went and looked for a job with a suit on. So I'd put this suit on, and then me and my friend, I would pick up my friend, we'd go get some weed, and then we would go over to Fred Meyer's, and he would steal some stuff so we had money to go play poker. And then I would sit there with my suit and play poker, and then I'd come home like I've been looking for jobs all day. That's how you're supposed to look for a job. See? Tangible. Okay. Anyone else got a comment, a question out there? I see you moved upstairs, Andrew. Were they getting too annoying down there? Or?
No, the tech is just wonky still.
Oh no.
So yeah. So we'll just try this. We'll I'll just be up here and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Comments, questions. and close it up. Well, I think that there's only one defense, and it's only going to get worse unless we begin to, down in Vegas, I tried to instill, and we're trying to instill a truthful environment, a no holds barred, truthful environment, and I'm encouraging them every day to just blurt out truth. Something pisses you off, just blurt it out. Learn how to say it better later. So just blurting out truth, creating an environment. And the problem with that environment is that people aren't used to it anymore. And people don't like truth. They'd rather have people not tell them or criticize them or say anything wrong with them. They'd rather none of that went on. So people have, if we tell somebody that they cleaned the bathroom wrong, they get upset. It's clearly you cleaned the bathroom. No, I did. I cleaned it. It's right. No, it's not. I'm looking at the hair on the bathroom toilet, and I'm looking at the pee on the toilet, and it's not right. I cleaned it. And that's where we're at with pain and with being able to accept criticism and being validated. And I just tell you guys, we are desperate. And I hope you can look out and see this desperation that people are engaged in with Facebook and social media and drugs and shopping and Amazon, and this desperation is deep, and we are so desperate that they tell us it's water and we'll drink, and it's like humans walking in a desert looking for validation, and anything they put down that might help us get a little serotonin and dopamine we lick up like it's water, and we're susceptible. And anyone that's in sales knows what I'm talking about when I say we sell, and how we sell is we capitalize on people's pain. That's what they do. So marketing is capitalization on people's pain. And they tell us we need something, and then we figure out that we do need it, and then we can't live without it. And that's the current system, and the only way to reverse it is to turn pain into acceptance, be able to sit with my emotions, be able to expand, be able to powerful, be able to walk into a car lot and not buy the first thing that comes to mind, not buy the first deal, be able to sit there and go, no, 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 I don't care about feeling different when I leave here. And I remember a stark difference between when I used to go to car lots and when I go now. I couldn't walk out of that place without buying a car, and now I can't go there and buy one because it's such a joke. And I try, but I can't get myself to do it, and so I need it. So you see what's going on, and I hope we get to this point where I hope we get to a point where we can teach this, learn this, practice this as a family, telling each other truth, providing pain for each other in a truthful manner, and then leading people to be able to accept that pain, and growing up on how to be able to accept criticism and boredom and all the things that we're trying to get rid of. We need to stop getting rid of these human experiences and just start being able to have them, being able to sit with them, being able to be in pain, notice that we're in pain, and not need to use anything. And if we can get there, we can have a defense system against whatever next thing that these people want to try to provide for us and try to shove down our throat, which is causing more pain than it actually alleviates. So I hope that resonates with you all, and you got something from that. And thank you for showing up, and we'll see you next week.
And everybody there at Kent, make sure to grab auction posters and postcards from Becky before you leave, procurement forms, which are donation forms for the auction. Grab those while you're there in person. Thanks, everybody. More information to come. We'll go live real soon.
Okay, we need a picture. Hold on.
Everybody come back for a second. I need a picture for Andy.
We got a lot of pictures.
Yes, please. Yes. I want to see everybody was there. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week on Zoom. Good night.